just begun as she puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. Now the morning is the afternoon. We lay awake in bed. The laughs so loud as the hours pass.
Pleasant good evening to you fans from around the world. Good morning in India, in Australia, in New Zealand, in Asia. Good morning to you in the United States and in the rest of the Caribbean. Good evening to you and thank you for joining us. Some of you that are on, you might be experiencing some Cape C advertisement on our channel, and by all means we welcome that and we invite you to continue to watch those ads because they will go towards supporting us here at West Indies Cricket Development Academy. West Indies win. The question before you join, can West Indies redeem themselves? And the answer came this evening, and we are very, very happy and grateful for the victory by West Indies over South Africa. Some sort of revenge for the quarter-final beating that they would have given to us there in the just concluded ICC T20 World Cup co-hosted by the United States, which this station covered extensively. This evening, it's an honor to be joining you again as we will bring you reviews and views on the game that just went by. I have with me here, as per usual, the president of the Cricket Show USA that is on your screen, Mr. Leon Francis. We also have with us the honorary secretary of the Cricket Hall of Fame, Mr. Dale Brown. We will have a few more of our panelists joining us a little later in the show. Mr. Francis, can West Indies redeem themselves? How much of an answer did West Indies give this evening to South Africa?
Well, Cuddling, before I begin, let me just make an excuse for Brother Dennis. He's running a little late. He's on the road, and he would have loved to be here to express himself when West Indies win. I want to say good evening to the panelists and all the listeners as well. Well, I thought it was a good victory, but not without flaws. Of course, we won the toss and sent them into bat, which was a right decision. And when the team was announced, I just remind Ron and Brother Dale, he wanted another opener party, but he got Athanaze, and they did a good job. West Indies had the upper hand from the beginning. They had some 5 wickets down for under 60 runs, and they were able to let go the rein. And South Africa replied with 174, a target, which was indeed a good recovery. And sometimes West Indies would have a task like that and a falter. But thanks to a good opening partnership between Hope and Athanaze, followed by of course, Puran with a magnificent award-winning or Player of the Match award for his outstanding batting. Two other flaws I detected was the bowling of Shamad Joseph. His overstepping, which was not a good sign. We hope that he should overcome that and do better but it turned out that we win, but that is something that needs to be corrected. He should not be bowling so many new balls. Although we only had 7 extras in it, you see. But all these things count. It was a good victory. Puran put down his head, and the other big fault was the dismissal of the captain. He should not have gone for that extravagant shot. There was no need for that at this point. Just eke out the singles. The victory was nearby. We should have lost 2 wickets, but we lost 3 wickets. It was a victory, well received by the folks, but we have some work still left to be done because South Africa is not going to be just lying down and let us get victory easily. It was a good toss for the West Indies to win again, and they did the right thing of sending in the South African. A good victory. I hope they can follow up. And the bowling of the youngster, what's his name there? The young Mahabhajan bowler. He did an excellent opening spell, and then we saw some good bowling all along. But there are still some work left to be done. We can't go ease upon it now. We are 1 up. We need 1 for the series win, and that should be the next challenge. Back to you.
Yeah, thank you for your thoughts there, Mr. Francis. Mr. Brown, the West Indies just coming out of a World Cup first game after disappointing quarter-final exit, and towards the end of the game there, while the captain was speaking and the commentators, it started by the now West Indies head coach. His first interview building up towards this game and this series, already looking 18 months ahead. But I thought Rodman Powell put it in perspective there. You can't be looking at something 18 months away. His thought was that they're going to live in the moment now and try to execute. Is that a good perspective from the West Indies captain, looking at what is before him now and not what is to come?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Coughlin, and thanks once again for having me here. You used one phrase a while ago, sir, that is, I'm happy to hear the captain use that phrase. And it is living in the, dealing in the moment, dealing with the moment, in the present moment, and not looking 18 months down the road. I'm happy to hear that he said that, because dealing in the present moment is a phrase that is used in mindfulness, meditation, and techniques, that you focus on the now. What happens now is all that matters. So you're not looking for 18 months ahead. You're building the foundation now. And each given moment, you're building that foundation that is going to eventually lead up to the next World Cup. So the building starts now. So hopefully that answers your question. I'm very proud of him for using that phrase. Even though while he was batting, he never exercised that judgment where he gave away his wicket needlessly. When, as Mr. Francis pointed out, he could have just played the delivery on their merit and earned the victory. And that is living in the moment. That is playing in the moment, as he alluded to at the end of the match. So I'm disappointed with the way he got out, but I'm happy to hear him actually use that phrase. And it is not a careless phrase. He must have heard it from somewhere. So hopefully they are paying attention to mindfulness and mind power, because that's a phrase that comes directly from those disciplines.
Absolutely. Mr. Francis, what impressed you most with the bowling of Matthew Ford? West Indies looking to the future, looking to give most of the youngsters here in the Caribbean that excel in the CPL a year ago more opportunities by the own admission of their captain, which is retained, Rodman Powell, saying that they want to give opportunities to new players. Um, just a year ago, 8 months ago, against England in Taruba, Matthew Ford was taken apart in one of the overs by Phil Salt. He came back in his first over today, struck on with a wicket off his second ball. How impressed are you with the young Matthew Ford from Barbados?
Very, very impressed with the young man. The way he attacks the stumps and his ability to move the ball. And his temperament is good. And he's not only a good bowler, but he's a good all-arounder. I hope that he is made a fixture in the West Indies T20 and white ball sides. Today's bowling was outstanding, though he had some assistance and he used it to the max. I can't see anything wrong with him. He got a little frustrated in the end when he was a little ragged and he was torn apart a little, but that comes with the territory. You may be bowling your best delivery and you can be dispatched. I see a bright future for the West Indies in this young man, and I hope that the West Indies, if he's not picked in the 11, he's kept close to the 11, and a player to be developed come next World Cup. I'm impressed with him. I hope he can continue his form. He continue his ability to move the ball and keep it in line and length. And I see him there have a long future if he continues that. I see no fault in him at this point, but at least no matter how good you are as a bowler, at times you're going to be hit, and he has to accept that and just go build up on the deliveries that have brought him success. He has to have one that he will contain battles, because they will go after him, and if he gets rattled, the young bowlers like himself would probably go rattled and go for double figures or even 20 per over. But I like him, and I hope that they keep him and just don't dismiss him. If other fast bowlers are already in good forms and they want to bring back, say, Alzari or bring back somebody, keep him close. But he's to me, he's a diamond in the rough right now, and we have to nurture him, and hopefully he gets better and he may just bring a victory to us in his opening spells. Thanks for the opportunity again. Back to you.
Mr. Brown, your thoughts on the impressive Matthew Ford and also Alec Athens opening the batting for the first time in T20 cricket for the West Indies?
Thank you, sir. Matthew Ford, most impressive thing with him is bouncing back from a few bad outings. And what he showed was resiliency. And, he really came back looking confident and believing in himself and believing in his abilities. So it was an impressive performance by him. He's expected in those overs to take wickets, and that's what he did. So that's very, very impressive, I would say, about him. Athens, again, he bats at number 4 for the test scheme, but there's no reason for him not to open. He has the strokes, and I was very happy to see him play more orthodox cricket shots and batted well. He scored his runs at his strike rate was 133, had a great opening partnership of 84 with Hope, and more or less kind of matched to Hope, stroke for stroke in the opening stand. So both him and Ford presented themselves and expressed themselves very well. And Ford, as I said, the resilience to come back after having a few bad games, where, as you pointed out, some matches ago, some time ago, with Phil Salt from England really lashing into him. And he seemed to have rebounded from that. And that character, building of his character, it's part of the learning process and building his character. So he passed that test today quite well. Athanaze has a lot of potential. He's a class batsman, and he showed it today. And I was happy to see him not really swinging for the fences with good length deliveries. He worked the ball around, took his singles, gave Hope the strike. Hope was more trying to hit sixes where he was not really trying to do that. So that impressed me about him. And he can keep his shape, his form, and still play orthodox strokes and still work it around the field. And that came to the front very, very obvious today. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely, dear. Mr. Francis, with the youngsters speaking, we are more referring now to the West Indies captain than the West Indies coach, who has emerged for the very first time to be thinking quite clearly. And Mr. Powell said that he wants to give opportunities to the youngsters with one eye on that World Cup, meaning he's not firmly looking towards 18 months, but he knows there is a process towards that. And Alec Athanaze being given an opportunity, and Matthew Ford, as we would have pointed out, how impressed are you with them that they are taking this opportunity with both hands? Because both of them would have performed exceptionally well in aiding the West Indies to overall their highest total in the Caribbean chasing.
Yes, I am very impressed with the inclusion of Athanaze at the top of the order. He performed well, but yet, he has to learn well. When you reach there, you should go on to make a half century. A little patience. He should not have gone for a stroke like that. He was so flat-footed. He didn't go all out with his stroke. He just go half-hearted, and he would have caught, just like Powell did the same. No movement to the pitch of the ball to get it over the infielders. I am glad to see they leave out Johnson Charles. I think they should make room for some more youngsters and leave Johnson Charles alone. We don't need him at this point. He has done enough for us. I don't know what is the position to have him in the squad. But with Adonis in and even Kati that is standing by, bring the youths in, give them an opportunity to play. Look how the South Africa used the young speedster. And he was there, he bowling, kept it tight, and obviously he'll be back in the next test, T20 side. We have nothing to lose if we bring some youngsters in. But Powell himself have to set the example, because when they see him gets out in that manner, they too will say he's all right. We need the youngsters to come up to the challenge, and when they get an opportunity, use it, go for 50s, and when they get to 50s, Puran put down his head. He could have been going bang, 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 bang. But sometimes too, when the pressure is on and you take the singles in the middle of the innings, 6 singles or 6 runs per over. If you get 2 fours, that's 8 and 4 singles. That's 12 and an over. You don't need to be hitting everything for a boundary or going over for maximum. We need giving these youngsters a chance and pull them out of the woodwork, let them face the music. We hope we can go on to win the second test match, the T20 come Sunday. It's a good victory, but we have faults. Shepherd did not bowl up to his maximum. He should at least keep it tighter. And of course, we see what happened to Samrat Joseph. He started well, and he became rattled. You should be able to tie up one end and keep it tight.
Yeah, but Mr. Francis, Joseph just into his 7th game.
Yes.
With the margin in T20 games are very narrow. It would have been, and by the standard that West Indies go by, he bowled the over just before the 20th over, where
20?
Shepherd would have bowled,
Mm-hmm.
and by all estimation, he would have done pretty well bowling that over, because normally those overs would have gone for 20 some 30 runs, and we have seen how Shepherd over would have went. Shepherd been there for so long, but Shamar Joseph that just came would have been too harsh in asking for him to be because these guys are learning, and they are being put in situations that they would have not normally bowl into, and so them giving him the 18th over is building the experience. And I think that's what Powell is referring to when he says that he wants to give opportunities to these players, because Joseph did not play a World Cup game.
Yes.
He was not given an opportunity. And this is what worries me, that the captain and the coach is not seen eye to eye at the moment, because Darren Sammy still feel we are playing a World Cup the next few months from now, while Powell is saying we have a World Cup in 18 months' time, but how do we build for that World Cup? And in building for that World Cup, you give opportunities to Shemar Joseph, Alec Atenis, and a few that is in the wings, and those that will show themselves in the upcoming CPL. And so I think asking for Joseph to be a bit tighter would have been too harsh at this moment for the young man that is learning his trade. He has a lot of time to build towards the next World Cup that will be staged in India and in Sri Lanka in 18 months' time. And what they need to do now is not, and I hear Darren Ganga, the West Indies former captain and former opening batter, talked about how this side going to perform without the expertise of Andre Russell. When Russell talked before the World Cup that he would have retired after the World Cup, are they still looking for Russell to play a role in 18 months' time? How backward do our think tank, meaning our coaching staff, administrators, those that are charged with the responsibility to pick our players, are retarded and deranged in their thinking? We believe that here at the Development Academy media arm, that Andre Russell should do the honorable thing and follow through with his retirement in retiring from West Indies cricket. This is not about country. This is not about where Andre Russell is from. This is about West Indies and us doing what will cause our team to be victorious. With this victory by the West Indies yesterday, we asked the question, and we apologize for those that did not get to watch us yesterday, many of you tried to find the show, but you just didn't see it. We had some technical errors, and so that show gone down the drain. But we would have sorted out that, and we're live as we speak at the moment with quite a few viewers watching us. Mr. Brown, how
No,
impressed?
can I just say something?
Yes,
You
you
know, by
can.
no means I want to write off Shema Joseph. I just want for us to embed in him when things are not going well, what he ought to do to get steady. He seems a little rattled.
Yeah,
And
and
that's
that's
what
what
I need.
and that's
And
what
it
the
comes
senior
from inexperience, right?
yeah, and that's what the
Right.
senior players are there for. And
If
more
yeah.
game will bring him that sort of experience to know that whenever bad times come up, you remain with a smile on your face and fight
Yes,
back. Yeah,
used to have that grin that we love to see. And,
that's
and,
what
and players
Powell.
sit around him
Yeah,
and support him. I didn't see that much when he was bowling those no balls. Those are just the basic, not his being hit for six, because anybody can be hit for six. Or I don't want him to be rattled and go into the bowling those no balls, because those can be corrected.
yeah,
And
that's what Powell was referring
prefer,
to. Yeah,
okay.
yeah, but unfortunately, and as you
Mhm.
can see on your screen there, the Cricket Hall of Fame is our main sponsor. They are located in Connecticut, United States of America, and they will be having their induction ceremony come October 5th. And keep it locked to this channel as we will try our endeavor best to bring you coverage of that. Remember to like and to subscribe to the channel um, while you are watching us. Mr. Brown, West Indies, when we asked the question yesterday about West Indies winning or not, you would have not come out brightly to say that West Indies would have win, but you sort of um, gave an indirect answer. But at the halfway stage, when West Indies had South Africa 30 odd for the last of um, 4 or 5, and South Africa recovered to make 174, how did your thought go back to say maybe South Africa would have, um, West Indies would have allowed this game to slip from them, and I was right not to come out front and say it will be a win for the West Indies?
Okay, thanks again. First and foremost, as West Indian, every and any game that West Indies play, I want them to win. I expect them to win. So it's really, if you recall, I said the par score for the first inning was going to be 158 runs.
Yes.
I don't know if you recall that.
Yeah, you did.
So even when South Africa, the point I'm going to make to you is that even when they were 42 for 5, I hope that they would get bowled out for less than 100, but I still expected them to make around 158 runs because that was the prediction at that point. And I'm not going to say back away from it to any degree, but the fact that they added another 132 runs after being 42 for 5 for only the loss of only 2 wickets, it simply means that you give them credit for the recovery, but it also means that we let them off the hook with some bowling that was not exactly tight. I like to see the bowlers pitch the ball up more and let the batsmen generate the power rather than pitching it short and allowing them to make room and slap the ball to the boundary or to pull the ball to the boundary. The last 42 runs were made off the last 2 overs. And you have touched on 1 over, which is Shamar Joseph's over. And first and foremost, it's a learning experience for him. And the good thing that I saw there was that the captain, Ravman Powell, went over to him on at least two or three occasions to try to calm him down. But it did not work this time. But at least I saw him trying to calm him down. Bowling short and wide in T20 cricket is not a good idea, regardless of who the bowler is. And batsmen will use your pace against you because they don't have to generate any power. Your pace generates the power for them. And if the good death bowlers like Dwayne Bravo, they use cutters and slower balls, and that's why they are successful bowling in those overs. Shamar Joseph will only get better as he plays more. Shepherd, they keep using him in that role, and he keeps leaking a whole lot of runs, 18, 20 odd runs. I don't know why the insistence is there with him. That was for me one of the drawbacks there. He only bowled 3 overs, and 1 out of the 3 of them is the 20th over. That may be too much for him because he's going to, they will ignore what happened today because they won, but they have to pay attention to him and perhaps groom somebody else to bowl that 20th over. I'm not comfortable with him bowling there. So it's a great victory for the West Indies. I'm happy that South Africa fought back so you could see what stuff the West Indians were made of in terms of resilience and endurance and determination. We got to see Athanaze bat with hope and bat very sensibly. Obviously, again, the stroke that he was out to, I'll just ignore it. He made 40 runs off 30 deliveries, played orthodox cricket, and that shot, he just never moved his feet. I think Mr. Francis said that before. He just never moved his feet. Hope, what can you say about him? Batted very well, and Pooran came in, and once Pooran is in his 6-hitting mode, that's what he's going to do.
Absolutely.
You're not going to stop him.
No stopping.
The problem with him is if he's not in the 6-hitting mode and the ball is not coming onto the bat, what is his plan B? And you want to hope and to expect that these coaches and the senior players are sitting down and saying, listen, if the ball is not coming onto the bat, we're going to work and get the singles. We're going to do this. Because you don't see a plan B with them. You can't just go with a plan A and that is it. You can't just do it. So I think it was overall a good performance by the West Indies. They got some good work in, and let us see how they build for the next match.
Yeah, and they talk about the captain talked about a bit of rustiness with the players in his presentation there at the end. And so we look for Sunday that the team will strap up better and come better and perform better. Mr. Francis, when we asked yesterday about the toss, the pitch, and the toss, you said the West Indies should win the toss and ask South Africa to bat. How pleased are you that Captain Rodman Powell follow your instruction, and in the end, West Indies would have gotten the victory?
Yeah, I'm happy that he did so, and it paid off. It should have been better because we didn't get a good performance from Chase, number one, and of course, we Shepherd too. Those are our bowlers that we hope can keep it tight. They were battered. However, we came up with a victory, and we have to be grateful. It wasn't perfect, but a victory, a substantial victory. We should not have lost 3 wickets. We lost 3 wickets. And we won the match, in my view, convincingly. but it was not perfect performance. There's lots of things left to be done. Wasn't satisfied with the bowling, and a couple just missed fields, but nothing extraordinary to let off 7 extras all told, and with 4 no balls. That was quite good. And I can't recall any catches were dropped, no near misses, no any runouts. So all in all, I would say they perform 80%, although they won. There's still room left for improvement. If we can get our not the main bowlers, but the ones who are helping in a way to tie the ends when we need them. And then I was thinking along whether or not we should consistently bowl out Akil Hussain and try him at the end in the death as well. Keep him for 1 over in the end. You bowl him 3, you constantly keep bowling him out. Have a little change. Moti wasn't himself too, but he still did a little. Not too bad, but there's room for improvement. Maybe he should not continue to just bowl Akil Hussain 4 consecutive overs in a row. Just keep him in the death and then switch it up. Because they know our plans, we have to change it up on them and see if we can do better. Because we need to win this series. And hopefully we should win this series and whitewash them if we do that. So I give them an 8%. And I'm proud of their victory, but of course, there's room for improvement.
Very much so. And that's it. We want to thank the president of the Cricket Show USA, Mr. Francis, for being on with us, and also the honorary secretary of the Cricket Hall of Fame. And as you know, the Cricket Hall of Fame is our main partner. Want to thank everyone that watch us this evening. Remember to subscribe to the channel and to like this video, and also to watch the ads on this video, to share this stream and this video with your friends, and share it across your social media channels, as it will help us to gather what we need here to execute the plans we have for our youngsters here at West Indies Cricket Development Academy. We will be back Sunday after the game. That game will start local time at 2:30 there in Taruba at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy, and we will be here right after that game to bring you our views and reviews. Hopefully, when that game finished, the West Indies will once again have this series in the bag, and we will push for the 3-0 whitewash, repeating what would have happened at Sabina Park earlier this year against South Africa. And until Sunday, we say goodbye for now, and thank you for joining us.
And thank you.
Our hearts beat to the